Hello everyone, I'm Coyote Jack, and well, we've already covered that Brandos 2 is backtracking. A lot of whales are not coming back to that game because they sacrificed their account in order to send a message by doing chargebacks. So yes, for that point we know how the damage has been done to this game, but also highlights some stuff. And yes, it's going to sound like I'm going to keep beating this game a little further, but I, you're going to understand at least to a certain degree why. So yeah, they announced this that they are going to do different versions for each region. One that is the caca version and the good one, the real one. So in order to comply with some fucking dog shit countries, but well, that we have seen, for example, the UK and Australia, especially UK, because we have seen a case where a guy got arrested by having a lolly from Brandos 2 in his profile pic, but the thing is, he went to the US, there was this fucking 3 or 4 from the Department of Homeland Security that thought, oh, wow, this has this pizza for anime drones. And for that, you can understand how much I hate that kind of morons working in the law enforcement. But anyway, he got reported to the UK government. Yeah, Ireland is sadly from there, from the UK. And they have to follow the fucking nonsense of the regime. And they arrest this guy for having a drone, accusing him of cheese pizza and throwing him into jail with the same kind of types that actually committed horrible crimes. So at that point, everyone knows this. But this serves as to why the reason is that probably this whole shit show from Brandos 2 started because they either were Visa, MasterCard, or some governments pushing them. But let's continue. Because Senko Kurishita-san have this one. A developer note was posted regarding the suspension of Brandos to censorship. It explains that they were concerned that a suspension in one country could lead to reports and additional reviews in other countries. That's the key part here, man. That's the key part. One country said, if I can have it because I can tolerate it, yeah, nobody else should have it. That's the kind of mindset that they set themselves here. Well, let's continue. And that they are currently discussing how to address restrictions in specific countries. And I will continue the details once an agreement is reached. While these issues appear to be occurring throughout the gaming industry, details are rarely actively disclosed. And you know what? It's because we have seen how those activist groups, like for example, Estrella being the other example, Estrella, man, they really want to create too much problems for themselves. The only thing that is left for that country is to have their own Mexican cartels, and there you fucking go. And there is a shithole way worse than Mexico for for saying this because the cartels, yeah, they unalive a lot of people yearly. Well, considering a ghoulish example is because you have real issues, and looks like your main concern is to censor the entertainment of everyone else in the entire world. There's something that really pisses me the fuck off, man. It really, really, really pisses me off. Well, which makes these censorship issues even more serious. I hope they will disclose as much information as possible about these issues and provide more clarity on the mechanisms behind game censorship. There are many users who want to support them. So, you know how they can disclose which specific countries by announcing either, sorry, we have to disconnect the access for this country or the Y country and etc etc, or announcing, oh yeah, the censored version is going to be played here. Just for example, Nike, In China, it has the censor one, but for global, including Japan, Asia, and the West, the game is still intact with fan service. So yeah, okay, develop a specific version, and that's something that at the same time I really want to dunk on Brando's two developers and Neorwitz as a whole, because you could have avoided this shit show if you did this from the start. But and this is something that also pisses me off about a lot of gacha games when they ended up cornering into this. And if you create both versions, and since if it's not the payment processors, but is but if it's one specific country, you can solve that by just developing the censor version for that country, and that's it. But no, they were motherfucker lazy. Ah, they were fucking lazy to do this, and now they are facing the consequences of that. Because they say, it's too much, Joshua. Motherfucker, you have resources. They had the resources. They were Brandos too was in the top charts. No, everyone that defended the censorship. Oh, but it was too low. It isn't necessary. They can go straight and go fuck themselves. They should never be listened ever again because, well, the developers themselves destroyed that argument by announcing, you know what, we reconsider this and we are going to actually do the different versions. Oh, thank you, but you fuck up. That's the thing. You could have avoided a lot of problems if you just simply say, okay, this country is pissing us off, but well, we don't want to censor for anyone else, otherwise we're going out of business. It's simply, okay, I'm going to destiny resources to put effort into censor version. Fucking hell, man. Shifa is a publicly traded company, but even those guys knew full well, okay, you want China money. Even you got a lot of pushback for a lot of good quality of life stuff that was added for only for the Chinese version. That even came way, way later into the West. But China, to this day, still has the censor version, or probably has a trigger, so you can switch to the uncertain one. Who knows? At this point, nobody cares that much because it's from China, and probably the only thing they care about is there is a different type of content that probably even the West would like to have. That's simple. Brandos too. Fuck man, they had all chances to do this, but they went for the stupidest one. The one that would put them in the end of service. And yeah, they backtracked and announced this shit because they were actually facing end of service because all those whales were doing chargebacks. Chargebacks means okay, I got all my money back, but yeah, I know full well that I'm going to be banned. I'm going to get my account banned from that game, but yeah, it's a bridge time willing to burn. That's what a lot of whales, and the whales actually remember the betrayal. So yes, this is why it pisses me off this situation. How I know this game is enjoyed, the fan service. We were seeing this. Yeah, the problem also people have pointed out is that it go to mainstream and they still try to do that shit, and we ended up seeing it. But if it wasn't a lie, look, if it was a lie that the game was going mainstream and it was because of one specific country, there is easier solutions. See how much money is being spent in that country. Oh, absolutely peanuts, nothing compared to the other ones. Okay, this country is forcing you to censor. Simply region block the hell out of that place, and problem fucking solved. Even those that are willing to play. Hell, man, where I live, you cannot install Fate Grand Order. And yeah, I know there is a global version, but it's not accessible where I live. And there's still a lot of players from Fate Grand Order using other methods to get access to that game. So yeah, even if that country is doing all of that fucking censorship nonsense, those still interested can still try your game uncensored because they're going to find a way. Yes, this is something that is to be learned because even people pointed out, man. Like, remember there was an arrest in the EU because of the content of Brandos 2. This could be connected. The fact that Brandos 2 is not fully stepping down is a huge step against censorship and it shows everyone won't just bend to the EU. We must support your resistance. You know, this is what I keep saying, because this country is one, and the UK and Australia, specifically those two, because they are with the same mindset. They are two bodies, and we have seen the last year with collective shit serving as useful idiots for to bend Steam's knees, and they Steam ended up bending the knee, and yeah, they added those terms of service saying, yeah, the payment processors can dictate which game is and isn't allowed, despite our review process. While also, it's true that yeah, Steam also has a problem with a lot of retarded employees that hate fan service, hate Asian art style, and all the cute and funny. But yeah, that's my take in this. Honestly, this could have been avoided if they just either region block that country and ask a censored version for that said country, and that's it. These fuckers, man, but those two developers still piss me off a lot because they had better options to do, better approaches, and with the resources, and now they don't have those resources anymore. I mean, they're putting them now into what they should have been done at first, but they have less resources now because, yeah, a lot of whales burned that bridge. But that's it. Thanks for watching, and please have a pretty good day or night whenever you're watching this video. Please take care.